Coach Iguavin, for the Nigerian Super Eagles, he said, that he wants to make the Super Eagles an attack-oriented team. Coach Iguavin, he said he wants to make the Super Eagles attack-oriented, offensive-oriented, and he wants our players to be creative and entertaining. He said in the article, he said he likes entertaining football. So yeah, and that's the style of play that the Super Eagles need. We have a whole lot of talented players, world-class level players all throughout our squad. And we have all these talented and skilled players and young athletic players, and the best way to utilize their talent to the full effect is through a creative, athletic, attacking style of play. These are young, gifted players. And, to have an attack-oriented style of play, you definitely have to use the right formation. There are certain formations in soccer that are better for attacking. There are certain formations that are better for defending. And there's formations who utilize both offensive attacks and are defensive oriented at the same time, And one formation that's good for attacks, for an attacking style of play is the 3-5-2 formation. And with the 3-5-2 formation, you have to have athletic players for the 3-5-2 formation. You have to have strong, fast, and quick players in order for the 3-5-2 formation to work correctly. Especially with the winger positions, both your left winger and your right winger in that midfield in the 3-5-2 formation has to be very fast, and that's no problem with Nigeria. Nigeria is an athletic team with a whole lot of fast, young players. And the reason why, especially with the wingers in the 3-5-2 formations, have to be fast because, in the 3-5-2 formation, your wingers are always running forward for an attack. And, and they always have to run backwards, to help out with defense. So in the 3-5-2 formation, your wingers are both offensive oriented and defensive oriented. They have to, the wingers have to run forward for an attack, and they have to hurry up and run backwards, on the defensive side of the field to help with defense. So they need to have a lot of field to run to offense and run back on defense, and that takes a lot of speed and fitness. And that's something that our players have. Let me explain the 3-5-2 formation, regarding like the positioning of the players on the field. Okay. In the 3-5-2 formation, you have 3 center back defenders, Then ahead of the 3 center back defenders, you have In the middle of the field, 5 midfielders. You know, in the 3-5-2, your wingers are basically midfielders. They're part of that midfield. So in the 3-5-2, you have 5 midfielders. Then ahead of the 5 midfielders, you have 2 strikers. And, with Mr. Iguavin, the coach of the Super Eagles, he said he wants to make the Super Eagles an attack-oriented team. So our squad under him is going to be constantly moving forward, charging forward, for attacks. So our squad is definitely going to be offensively oriented. And with this 3-5-2 formation, with the 3-5-2 formation, that's the perfect formation for our team to be attack oriented. Yes, okay. The 3 defenders, for our 3-5-2 formation for the Super Eagles, our 3 defenders should be, as you see it on the screen, it should be Awazium, Ndidi, Collins. And you might be asking, why did I put Ndidi, as a center back defender? Ndidi, he's supposed to play defensive midfield. Okay, yeah, usually Wilfred Ndidi plays as defensive midfielder. But with this formation, I switched him to center back, one of the center back defenders, And I did that because, this formation and with our coach's style of play, it's supposed to be offensive, attack oriented. And Ndidi, he's not the most creative player. I mean, he's creative to an extent, but he's not the most creative player. He's not very fast to push for an attack in the midfield. And Ndidi's kind of stiff, but he's a strong player though, but he's kind of stiff. He's not a creative player. He's not very fast. He's not the type of player who's going to run up the field with track level speed and push for an attack. So, in a 3-5-2, you want your midfielders to be in an offensive oriented 3-5-2, an attack oriented 3-5-2. You want your midfielders to be able to be very fast and have the ability to use their speed to push for an attack up the field, So that's why I put Ndidi, as one of our 3 defenders. And Ndidi, he already knows how to play defense, of course. Duh, he's normally a defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielders usually, of course, they know how to play defense. They play defense in the midfield, hence the name, defensive midfielder. So Ndidi, he already knows how to tackle. He knows how to defend, So he has all the qualities, all the skill set to be a center back. And Awazium, I put Awazium as the right center back because I believe he has history playing that position already. He's already played that position several times for the Super Eagles. So he's very comfortable in that regard. Yes, he's a good defender. Chidozie Awazium, he's a good defender. He's a better defender than Ekong and fucking who's the other defender? And Balagoon. So you notice I didn't put Balagoon or Ekong on this starting formation because they're fucking trash. And Awazium, he's very flexible. He has a good first touch. He's an accurate passer. And he can move the ball forward. So, and he's physical and he can get tackles. Yeah, man, he's a solid defender. From what I've seen, Awazium's a solid defender. And he's one of the best defenders we have, and he can bring quality to the attack, He can move the ball forward, He's not the type of defender who's a pure defender. Awazium, he's one of those well-rounded players who you can use them in your defensive efforts, and you can use them in your attacking efforts. He has that type of skill set. He has a skill set of a winger, but you can put him in defense as well because he's a strong player and he knows how to tackle. So having Awazium as your center back, that gives the Super Eagles creativity, on the defensive end. Because like he can pass, man. I forgot what game it was, with the Super Eagles, but some time ago, I think it was the Super Eagles, the Nigerian Super Eagles, they were playing in I think it was, I don't know, it was either, I think it was African Cup of Nations qualifications, or it could have been World Cup qualifications. I don't know. But it was within the last couple of months. Chidozie Awazium, he had an assist. A long ball assist. And yeah, so dude knows how to pass, and you can use him as a playmaker from the defensive end to accurately make long balls and accurately pass to one of your midfielders or strikers, to push for an attack. And that's the same thing with Ndidi. Ndidi, you can use him, to be a defensive playmaker. Ndidi has proven that he can pass and he can play make. So Ndidi, he can create in the 3-5-2 formation. Ndidi can play make for the 5 midfielders that are in front of him. So the Nigerian Super Eagles are that type of team whose defenders need to have and offensive skill sets. Yeah, the Super Eagles need defenders who have an offensive skill set, you know, and that's basically just gonna increase our scoring chances, and it's gonna add to the Super Eagles' offensive talents, you know. Even our defenders need to have the ability to push the ball forward for attacks, play make, and the ability to score goals, you know. So with our defenders are basically almost like backup midfielders who happen to play in that center back position. But all the center backs, you know, for our team need to have the ability to score and ability to play make, you know. It increases the scoring chances for the Eagles. So it's basically like you have 10 attackers on the field at once. So that's an attacking nightmare, right? Isn't it? And, you know, Jamilu Collins, I'll have him for my left center back. Jamilu Collins, he's already proven he can play that position. I believe he played left center back, or he played at center back against Brazil before and a couple other games for the Super Eagles, and he succeeded really well, you know, at center back. He can play defense. He's very physical. He's fast. He can tackle. He can pass the ball. You know, he's a very adequate center back defender. You know, he can push that ball forward. You know, with these three defenders, Collins, Ndidi, Awazium, these three center backs, they all have the offensive skill set to push the ball forward, play make, and potentially score. You know, so even our defenders in an attack-oriented team, even your defenders should be able to add something to the offense, you know, add something to the attack, such as speed, passing the ball to the your midfield, accurate long balls to the strikers, you know, or even running up the field, you know, as defenders and attacking and scoring goals your own damn self, you know. That's the type of attacking presence that the Super Eagles need. And I know this kind of looks crazy. It kind of looks crazy, okay, that I have Victor Osimhen in the midfield. Why would I have Victor Osimhen in the midfield? He usually plays as striker. Yeah, Victor Osimhen, he usually plays as striker. But like I said, a lot of our players on this Nigerian squad, they're very well-rounded. You could play a lot of our players in multiple positions, you know. And Osimhen, he's one of those players. Put him in the midfield, you know, kind of have him playing as like a defensive midfielder in a 3-5-2, you know, and he could definitely do that. Victor Osimhen, he's very physical. He plays with a lot of heart. He's very skilled. He can tackle the ball. He's very physical. He's all up in your face. You know, he's that type of player. He plays with heart. You know, he's very fast. So he can use his speed to push the ball up the field and pass the ball, in an attack, And yeah, Victor Osimhen, he can be used as a playmaker as well. He's a good passer. I really think Victor Osimhen, he's too much of a talent, just to be used as striker. And he could be used, Osimhen, he's already proved they can score goals and he can attack up the field, get in the right position and score a goal. He's a goal scorer too. Osimhen can have the ball, get the ball, from Awaziem or Ndidi. Awaziem, he's a good passer. Ndidi, he's a good passer. Collins, he's a good passer. They can pass the ball up to Osimhen. Osimhen can charge off the field. Pass the ball to Ejuke. Ejuke is one of the best dribblers in the midfield. Then Ejuke can give the ball to Iwobi. Iwobi, he can score goals. He can play make. Iwobi can make a playmaking assist to Sadiq Umar, and Sadiq Umar can score a goal. So Nigeria definitely has the talent. Ola Aina, he's one of those well-rounded players too. He could play multiple positions. He has the talent where he can play as a winger. He could play as a midfielder. Bro, he could do anything. But Ola Aina, this 3-5-2 formation, you can line him up as a defensive midfielder right next to Osimhen. Help out the center backs in the with defense. Assist the center backs with the defensive duties, and he can attack too. Ola Aina, he's very fast. He can assist. He could pass the ball too, so he can assist with going forward with an attack. And Osimhen, he could definitely go for an attack. Both Ola Aina and Osimhen are very fast, and they're both very physical, and they have the qualities to be great defenders and great offensive players. So Ola Aina and Osimhen are my two defensive midfielders for the 3-5-2 formation. And, the other three midfielders, in this 3-5-2 formation are Samuel Chukwueze, Chidera Ejuke, and Emmanuel Dennis. Samuel Chukwueze, he's that the right side winger. He's played that position a gazillion times. I believe that's the position he plays for his club team in Spain. And that's his normal position for the Super Eagles. And he's fantastic at that position. I haven't seen him play in some months, but, man, I've seen him play for the Super Eagles several games. And he always brings that up-tempo style, He's very fast. He can use him for to push for an attack, up the field. And he can score goals too. With Chidera Ejuke, he's very quick. He's quick, but he doesn't have that winger speed. But he's quick. He has the perfect quickness to be that center or attacking midfielder. And Chidera Ejuke, he's been rated like the top 3 dribblers in Europe. So he has the perfect skill to keep ball possession and dribble and get up the field fast, Emmanuel Dennis, He's played the left winger position before. I believe was his original position, I believe. Now he in Watford, Manuel Dennis most of the time plays as striker, but he's played that left winger before. And so he's used to that position, and that's the position that I put him in. He's fast, he's physical, he can push the ball forward. We see him pushing the ball forward all the time for Watford, so he definitely has that skill set to push the ball forward for an attack. And he can pass the ball. He has 5 assists right now. He can pass the ball, accurate passes, play make, and he's one of the leading scorers in the Premier League, so he can score goals too. This is the ultimate attacking midfield. Ola Aina, Victor Osimhen, Samuel Chukwueze, Ijuke, and Emmanuel Dennis. This is probably the best attacking midfield in the world, and that's for real. With this midfield has the skill set and the athleticism to do anything. I mean, these players would just be running up the field scoring, bro. Man, this midfield is fucking magic. Chukwueze, he can score. Ijuke, he can dribble. World-class dribbler. Chukwueze, fast. World-class winger. He can score too. Emmanuel Dennis, he can score. He's fast. He can push the ball forward. He can play make. Victor Osimhen, he's fast. He can play make. He can pass the ball. He can score. Ola Aina, he can play make. He can move the ball forward. He can defend. Man, this is the ultimate midfield. Then the 2 strikers are Alex Iwobi and Sadiq Umar. You guys might be wondering, why did I put Iwobi as a striker? Iwobi doesn't normally play as a striker, and that's true. Alex Iwobi normally doesn't play as striker. He's normally in the midfield or a winger, But man, he scored several goals for the Super Eagles, so let's not act like Iwobi can't put the ball in the net. He's shown several times with the Nigerian Super Eagles that he can score. So let's not play Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi, he's at his utmost confidence when he's in front of that goal and has the ability to score. We've seen it with Argentina. Alex Iwobi, he lined up with the same 3-5-2 formation against Argentina in a friendly and scored 2 goals against them. So Iwobi, he can be a competent striker, man. He's at his utmost confidence when he's right in front of that goal, and has goal-scoring duties. That's when Iwobi has the most confidence. And Iwobi, he can score any type of goal. He can score aerial goals, and he can score ground goals. Dude's talented, and he can play make. He can score goals and he can play make. That's why I put him as one of the 2 strikers. Iwobi, he can play make it and pass it to Sadiq Umar. And Sadiq Umar, he has a knack for scoring goals. Sadiq Umar is one of the top goal scorers in the second division Spanish league. So, and I watched Sadiq Umar play for the 2016 Nigerian Olympic squad, and he scored a lot of goals with the 2016 Nigerian Olympic squad, Sadiq Umar. And Sadiq Umar, he's just one of those entertaining players who he has a lot of heart, Yeah, he's an ultimate striker. He's always trying to score. So, man, this is the ultimate attacking squad. It is, man. Everyone on this squad, on the screen that you're watching right now, has the ability to attack and defend. Even Awazium can push for an attack. Ndidi, he's a good passer. Collins can push for an attack. You know, Ola Aina, he's fast. He's physical. He can defend. He can tackle. Osimhen can push for an attack. Ola Aina could push for an attack. Chukwueze could push for an attack. Ujuke, one of the best dribblers in the world, could push for an attack. Dennis can push for an attack. Victor Osimhen, he's a world-class scorer. Samuel Chukwueze is a world-class scorer. Emmanuel Dennis is a world-class scorer. Chidera Ujuke is a world-class dribbler. I mean, this is the ultimate midfield. It really is, man. But all right, you guys, peace.